Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Brackenbury. Let's check out House Domino.
How do you do?
Domino Dorman. The burly guard eyes you warily. I don't recognize you. What business do you have with House Domino? Tell me about House Domino. It's an old and respected family. Much of Defiance Bay's prosperity is due to Domino business activities. Now, you have any further business here? Farewell. I will see you out. Fair enough. Alright, let's go to Hadret House. The marble at the base has been worn smooth by the passage of hundreds of feet.
Keeping quiet.
A link, yes. I'm certain of it. Okay, we've read this one before.
Huh?
The scrolls are wedged tightly in the shelves. Each has a name scrawled along the outside. This map shows the environs surrounding Defiance Bay. Flags mark strategic access points to the city.
Sure.
Ready, Watcher.
Huh?
Some of these vintages are even older than Defiance Bay.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
I'll speak to Curran after we finish exploring the first floor. Either these notes are written in code, or the author's handwriting is atrocious. I can relate to the latter. A group of notes speculate about the identity and location of a secret sect in Defiance Bay. And someone told me that I can lockpick
I'll
safely.
see what I can do. The work of a moment.
Cool, we get experience for it.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Alright, I know this person patrols, so once they leave, we'll steal this stuff.
Ready, Watcher. Slow and silent.
Actually, before I forget about it, after we're done with Hadret House, I'll probably go back to Copper Lane
I'll take a look.
and lockpick any chest that I left back there. Blunderbuss. A fix of the wall leads in a case involving, apparently, a caravan that disappeared en route to Hiomar.
I'll take a look.
Gods keep you.
The old man is surrounded by books and scrolls. His wiry hair stands nearly on end, and his ears prick up as you approach. Gray whispers. Hey Nua. Goated Veil. Old voices indeed. Oh, he's a cipher. If I didn't like paladins so darn much, I would have played a cipher in this playthrough. How did you know? Yolan grins, revealing a row of dagger-pointed teeth. As a cipher, it's my job to know these things. You carry the whiff of ancients. What else can you tell me? His ears twitch downward. Not as much as I would like, unfortunately. My duties for Lady Webb require me to focus on my talents elsewhere. Regards a table piled with scrolls. Webb was the last name of my kindergarten teacher. What brings you to Dunred Row? Tell me more about your skills. I check for soul connections, looking for lost things, missing things, or troublesome things, particularly where people with power and influence are concerned. I'm a cipher, near Glonfob, or once known as Brishelgwyn, Mine Hunters. Nice title, yes, but it wasn't until the Animancers began working with my kind 40 years ago that we truly understood our power. Now, make some of the best detectives in the world. Tracing souls, we can look at a person and see where they have been, or look at a weapon and see who has touched it. His nose twitches as he looks at you. Useful for solving crimes, as you can imagine. It looks as though you could use some help. Crane wags a clawed finger. Not at liberty to discuss my work, unfortunately. Downward row ears only. A civilian would need the confidence of Lady Webb before I could share. What are you so busy with? His small furry hands gesture expansively at the papers before him. Hollowborn, growing unrest, and the ever-present political intrigues. With so many missing souls, missing persons are the least of our concerns these days. Farewell. Alright, let's head upstairs. The notes are scribbled in a cryptic shorthand. Pictures of all manner of folk were pinned to this board alongside notes scribbled in an indecipherable shorthand. Almost.
And what does the flame reveal?
Let's wait for a second and see if this guy walks away.
Ready, Watcher. Slow and silent.
Huh?
I'll see what I can find.
Alright, so we can't go in here yet. I assume is where Lady Webb is located. I'm guessing at a certain point. That wrong one. In the main story or within Defiance Bay, we're gonna get one of these factions gonna reach out to us. So House Domino or Hadret House. These minor factions within Defiance Bay. That's probably when we'll meet Lady Webb. We do a quest for her, gain her trust, and do the quest for Curran. Okay. Let's start off with the sanitarium since we know there is a
You're from
quest.
Gilded Vale? Then you're close to home.
Close can mean a lot of things.
Surely you'll go back when this is all over.
Dunno. Guess that all depends.
Let's go back to Copper Lane and look for any chest that I left behind. We'll swing by the merchant as well and see about getting some accessories. I'm not sure if I want to invest into the pike for Kana. I don't know if he's going to stay.
I've never been to Nasitak. Is it very cold? What creatures wander the tundra? How are your leaders chosen?
Do you always ask this many questions?
Well, that's just to get us started. Let me get out some parchment for notes.
Ask whatever you want. If I don't know, I'll make something up.
So I don't know if Kana's going to be a part of the A-team or not. I don't think there's any chests in here. I don't want to invest too much money into them. So what we'll probably do is... There was a helmet I think I wanted for Durance. And there are a couple other trinkets for more spellcasting. In fact, I think they were both rings. I find the Outer Archives. So Grimdo won't give us access until we do the quest for her, so I think we'll wait. I say I can just open it. Can't...
And what does the flame reveal?
I'm on the trail.
Right. If we just open it up and do it,
I'll take a look.
it might make them angry. I want to do this other quest. You know what? Let's just do it the natural way. Do the quest from Grimna, and then we'll proceed from there. Also, I came in here to look for any potential chests. I think it was all just bookshelves. I don't think there's any chests in here. Okay, we'll backtrack now, check out all these chests so I don't have to worry about it later. And so I don't forget.
Yes.
Can I pet him anyway?
It's your hand.
I'm gonna pet him.
Good old Adair. Actually, I wonder if the factions in Defiance Bay are tied to the main quest, if they're tied to my prestige at Caed Noir. Apprentice house, I'm pretty sure we cleared out, but we have to be diligent, so check it out anyway. Pretty sure once we got all the mercenaries up here, we cleared everything out. So, nothing here. We get experience just for going.
The life of a traveler. So many ruins to uncover.
Though after 5 years, I'll be ready for a break.
It is true. You have been at it far longer than I.
Right.
Where will you go next, when you have all the world to choose from?
Home, of course.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of experience just for going into the library for that quest. That's pretty cool. Getting pretty close to leveling up. Pretty much across the board. That guy's having a good time. If I could hear that laughing in the background. I need to remember to pause the game. Probably use the map to navigate so I don't cut off any conversations.
Right.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
Pretty sure there's no chests up here. Let's check anyway, just to be safe. Okay.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
Alright, this room is being cleaned out. Alright, so back to Hadret House. Well, first to the merchant, then to Hadret House. I don't want to spend too much money because there might be other merchants in Defiance Bay that I want to visit.
Well met, friend.
I'm almost tempted to get that. I could afford the Thanes, or Lost Thanes Reach if I wanted. Let's see. That seems pretty good as well. It's not too expensive. Yeah, +2 intellect. Duration, yeah. So I do want durations. This will be good for endurance. Was it not him that sold the trinkets? Guess not. Alright, well that's enough hurting on our pockets, so I think we'll just leave it here. And sell that back.
Well met, friend.
Was it Laura?
Good day to you.
Yeah, Laura has these other ones. But they are very expensive, so we will wait to buy those. Alright, let's go back to... This is probably the closest one. Go back to Hadret House. Or no, sorry, not Hadret House. The Sanitarium.
Greetings.
I guess I could have spoken to Grimda about Aiden. See if she had new dialogue. We just wait till we do the quest and we'll speak to her. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and Soul Adjustment for the Well-Adjusted Soul. I've read that one before. Alright, Alright, Nazi Talk Poetry, a compilation. The Expedition. I moved. There's no compulsion. It is not a need. But something pulls. I cannot deny its draw. The white winds out past my vision. Its fierce eyes watch me as I move. The wolf tracks my step. A silent companion who will not join. All is blank. Pale expanse lies before and behind. I search. Miles pass and still my feet move. My hunt continues unabated. Landscape returns my gaze, unaffected by my presence. Snow falls, needles driven by the wind. Its cold teeth bite my skin. Snow gathers, its hands around my feet. A fierce opponent who will not relent. All is white. My journey continues. I travel. I can no longer stop. A true compulsion forms. The need drives me on. I must see. The sun breaks through the gray. Its unrelenting gaze thaws me. My body warms under its touch. Rigid limbs move again, carry me farther. All is empty. The breath of existence is my destination. This will count as stealing. Fantastic. Well, we can take them and sell them. A warden, Animancer from the Republic's Vancello, has requested a visit. Extend a formal invitation. See to it that the necessary preparations are made. Of course. His mantle was torn asunder by a Beowick. As you can see, the patient is unresponsive, common after soul trauma. The Animancer places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We use this stone as a vessel for transfer. Can you hear me, Oswin? The patient's eyes slowly open before a panicked, wild expression washes over him. Unfortunately, the extended disassociation has permanent side effects. The patient becomes more agitated, grunting and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we're confident that we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswin. The table is set with an assortment of... we've already read that. Alright, this is new. Saint Widewind, Farmer Become God. At the mention of the name Widewind, most folk think only one word. Godhammer. While this event echoes through the ages, and is still felt years after the destruction of Evendoer Bridge, Widewind's humble beginnings belie the powerful force he would grow into. Widewind lived an unassuming life in a remote area of Riadsiris, the son of vorless farmers. He toiled in the fields alongside his father for 22 years, until his father's death. The farm then fell to him to run. He considered selling, but had no other skills upon which to draw, so he set on the path of vorless farmer as well. Nothing of note has been recorded in Widewind's life until 4 years after his father's death. One day, while working the fields, Widewind's life was irrevocably changed. In his words, night was falling, the fingers of dusk already gripping the sky. The sun had dipped behind the world's edge, and stars were peeking from beyond the shroud. The day was still, and darkness had blanketed the field. I placed my last harvest of the day into the collection pile, when from behind me arose a brilliant light. I turned, fear in my breast, knowing not what could have caused such intense radiance. Behind me stood a blazing figure, resplendent in glory. Its white flesh glowed with a luminescent radiance, its head a blinding ball of light, brighter than the highest sun of mid-year. I averted my gaze, afraid I would be struck down for daring to gaze upon such a creature. A sudden peace washed over me, sweeping away my fear, leaving my troubled soul tranquil. A loving warmth wrapped its arms around me. A voice spoke to me as I stood transfixed, trying to both see this glorious being and avoid its dazzling scrutiny. Fear not, it said to me. You are chosen above all others. You will be the light to bring about the rebirth of an empire. Then held out its hand and bestowed upon me a vision of power, so that I could scarcely contain it. Widewind, disheveled and dirty, stumbled into his village the next morning, telling all who would listen about the miracle that had happened in his fields. Eothas himself, he claimed, had appeared to him. He was to punish the adherent governor for leading his people into ruin. A way would be provided, and those faithful who helped would be blessed when the divinity manifested. Villagers ignored him, convinced the loss of his parents had broken his mind. But Widewind continued to preach of the power of Eothas and the corruption of the governor, eventually earning him the ire of the locals. His confrontations with the villagers hit a turning point one day in mid-autumn. A crowd had gathered around Widewind, jeering and telling him to leave the village. The fullest crop that season was particularly light, and the villagers blamed Widewind, saying he had angered the gods, particularly Eothas, with his blasphemy. They backed him into one of the withered fields, yelling at him to go. Accounts of the inciting action are hazy. Some say a stone was thrown, others say he was pushed. Others still say he simply tripped over a dry root sticking from the ground. Regardless of the cause, Widewind landed face down on the ground, the villagers standing over him laughing. Enough. A voice, not Widewind's, boomed across the field. Widewind looked up at the crowd, his eyes glowing with a blinding white light. He stood, but did not stand. One moment he was on the ground, and the next he was standing before the crowd who cowered before him. "You dare deny me," a voice spoke through Widewind's mouth. "You dare refuse my servant." Widewind's arms raised, beginning to luminesce. "You dare require proof." His arms went out to his sides. "Never ask again, lest you be burned in the light of the new dawn." There was a flash of light from Widewind's eyes and hands, and the entire field sprang to life. Once dried and brittle plants became full, lush, and verdant. The crowd was silent. From somewhere in the back came a call of praise Eothas, and they all fell to their knees in front of Widewind, farmer turned god.
Yeah.
Alright, this is a new place. Let's slow it down a bit. These look like field sketches of Ingwithan ruins and artifacts.
Huh?
I'll see what I can find.
Alright, a psalm to Wodoka. Ye exiles, ye broken, fear not the vengeance of the burned queen, who watches from her throne, ever vigilant. She hears the oath thou doth speak at her altar. She hears the oath thou doth speak in thine home. She hears the oath thou doth speak in the dark. For ye who would keep thy word, thou shalt escape the justice of her gaze. Beware, ye liars, ye unfaithful. Beware, ye with a hardened heart. Beware, for the eye of Wodoka will not be blinded. She hears the sundered oath. She is not fooled by the winding path. She attends the broken promise. She sees the deceiver. There's no shadow too dark. Her gaze will find thee. Her justice will not be restrained. The fires of justice will never be quenched. The throne will crack. The law will burn. But the queen that always will be, the queen that was always will be. Speak not untruth, or thy tongue will be bound. Remember thy place. Remember thine oath. Remember thy queen. Alright, we'll sell that. Read that before as well. Alright, that's a new book. For your soul... Sorry, what your soul may be trying to tell you.
Huh?
Alright, animancy in the modern age. Animancy is a science both respected and reviled, sometimes by the same person. While the research done on the topic, we still know so little. Control over life itself, something animancers have been working toward for hundreds of years. There are no real records of how the practice of animancy was first discovered. Once a spark of knowledge ignited, there's no stopping its inevitable discoveries. In 2260 AI, animancers, as a result of their extensive research, successfully contained and transferred a soul. The subject of the experiment, whose name is unknown, was young and wealthy but infirm. The idea was to move his soul from the dying body into that of a recently deceased man who had suffered an accident. The new body, bearing only slight decay, would house the soul, giving the man a much better life. The outcome of this experiment resulted in the condemnation and outlaw of animancy in the Adirian Empire. Again, we have no true records of what happened, as they were all destroyed after animancy was outlawed. A journal was discovered, a makeshift confession by one of the participants. Excerpts from that journal follow. 2260 AI, Von Prima 16. It is done, and the gods forgive us for our arrogance. I'm not sure what I was expecting. Certainly not that. What did any of us expect? Still, behind the revulsion there's a sense of pride, something I can't deny. All the research, the studying, everything we worked for, we thought we'd change the world, how it's changed. All was in place, twisted form lying on the table next to its new vessel. The equipment had been prepared. Tinctures and potions all carefully crafted, every detail painstakingly organized to ensure success. We most assuredly succeeded. The procedure went exactly as it should. The soul, extracted from the old body, held bound in place to prevent it from moving on. Excuse me. Then the next step. Transfer to the fresh vessel. It was beautiful and terrifying. I listened as they spoke the words of binding. I watched the soul move. Not the soul itself, of course, but the vapor we used to detect it, as it lowered into the vessel. A gentle luminescence covered the body, and then nothing. Silence. Darkness. I held my breath, afraid that even the slightest disturbance would destroy all our hard work. Then motion. Then, dear gods. Then, blood. How did I survive? I do not know. The vessel rose from the slab, and the room breathed. Every person crowded around the table exhaled. Some cheered. We made life from death. We had become eternal. The body closed its eyes and tilted its head, looking for all purposes to be listening for something, or to it. And its eyes popped open, and it moved. Its lips peeled back from its teeth in a horrible expression of fury. It fell on the nearest man, tearing his throat, knocking him to the ground. And the room erupted into screams, shouts, and a flurry of bodies running, pushing, doing everything in their power to get away from the creature sitting on their colleague. Right before that happened, a split second before the chaos, when there was nothing in the air but a stunned, terrified silence, I heard it. Sitting there on his chest, face at his neck, and it was feasting.
Yeah.
Its panning of a rolling forest glen had a strangely soothing effect. Okay. I'm going to call the episode here, and the next one we'll speak to Head Warden Ethelmore after Odmer. Then we'll go down below and see if there's anyone else to speak to
Ready,
or
Watcher.
anything else to loot. But for now, I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.